Hello, namaste everyone. I'm Bhuvanesh from America.
Good evening, everyone, to the third session of Dil Se. Welcome, all of you. It's been really incredible the last 2 days. For me, it's been a transformational journey. The one thing that has really stood out for me is what Daaji said about attitude. I have been mulling over that for the last few days. And I hope that you also have taken the opportunity to introspect on a lot of learnings that Daaji has, or rather teachings that Daaji has shared with us. Today, we will also be having ATA joining us as well. So we also have some folks joining in from the US. So thank you so much for joining in. Just like the other days, I will be taking questions also from the chat, along with all the people who've raised their hands. I see a number of people are already waiting eagerly to ask questions to Daaji. So we'll look forward to having him, and then we can pose the questions to him. We also have Tejaswini, who is Miss India Earth. Welcome to the session, Tejaswini. Such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
So when did you start meditation? I'm just curious, when did your heartfulness journey start?
I've been meditating since a long time, but heartfulness journey started very recently, actually. So in one of the medical conferences, I met Dr. Murthy, who got me connected to heartfulness. And recently, I had a wonderful opportunity to sit along with Daaji and meditate. So it was a huge blessing to me.
Lovely to hear that. I hope you can also visit Kanha sometime and meet all of us, and welcome to the Heartfulness community. I'm sure interacting with the others is also going to be really enjoyable for you.
Yes, I did visit Kanha very recently, just 2-3 days ago, and that's when I met Daaji there.
How did you feel looking at the lovely greenery there?
It's amazing. I was spellbound, actually. I mean, the kind of research that they're doing there, especially with the greens, I must say, with the endangered species and the ornamental plants, and you have specialists who are working on it. You have laboratories, and those hydroponics and everything that's going on. It's amazing. It was really surprising, and I was also told that these kind of plants, they don't grow in areas like Hyderabad where it is really dry, and they've developed a rainforest there. So hats off to them, and I'm sure they're going to take this concept forward, and we're going to see a greener Hyderabad from the concept that we've developed.
Really, I mean, it's all the vision of Daaji, and of course we have other volunteers who are also there, but Daaji really wanted to see this, and he himself is so committed. I've seen him go out for long walks and,
Yes.
literally pulling out the weeds with his own hands. So I think there's a lot of love that goes into the rainforest that you've seen.
Yes. He did show me a few of the plants. One of them was looking like a bird, and then he gave me a Krishna flower, which he was explaining me about Pandavas and Kauravas inside the flower. It is so nice to be there.
Oh, lovely. You're really lucky to get that time with him. We've all been yearning to do that the last 2 years. So that's fantastic.
Yes.
Namaste, Master.
Yes, I believe Daaji is here.
Namaste, everyone. Namaste. Interesting. Interesting. So,
Pranam, Daaji. Welcome
yeah.
for the third session. We're all very excited and have the same enthusiasm and energy to ask you questions like we were on day one.
I'm all yours.
And we also have Uma auntie also there. Would you like to take it over and introduce the ATA members, and then I'll take it over from there?
Yeah, thank you, Pragya. Namaste, Master. Today we have Bhuvanesh Bojala Garu, our ATA president, and Harilinga Garu, Sunny Garu.
Namaste.
And from API, we have Dr. Deepti Masali, Dr. Alok Agarwal, and his wife Sangeeta Agarwal. Dr. Alok Agarwal has a non-profit organization, Pragati, very close to our Kanha. And he has few years ago visited you, and you actually wrote to me about him. And he's wishing to come to Kanha very soon and would like to meet with you and request for some collaboration. So Dr. Agarwal is here. We have Dr. Deepthi Masali, Dr. Koduri, Dr. Vijay Rao, Kavita Chaudhary, Dr. Kavita Chaudhary, Dr. Prasuna Madhireddy, Suresh Madhireddy, and Dr. Pallela, Swapna Pallerla. All ATA and API members are on the meeting today. So thank you, Master. If
it's wonderful, Uma, to see so many medical professionals also enjoying this meditation. I'm very happy to hear this, that they are also, I think, not only learning, but sharing the same with their patients, especially those practicing in sleep disorders, anxiety, physiological things like diseases like blood pressure and heart diseases. And I think meditation and our Ashtanga Yoga, it covers most of it. And people try to use yoga when they succumb to problems. That's when it fails, actually. Because yoga is more like a vaccination, say. Whether it is asana or pranayama or dhyana meditation. People think it will work like medicine, but I'm afraid it will not. Because it's too late to implement meditation when you already have anxiety. When you meditate, you're supposed to meditate on divine presence. But instead, person with a problem will often inadvertently gravitate towards the problem and repeatedly think over it and make it worse. So, to me, as I see it, opening up everywhere, when people try it for various disease control, or it will fail. It will fail. But if you use it ahead of time, then it works like a vaccine, and it really can keep you healthy all through the life. So let's see some questions, Pragya and Uma.
Yes, Daaji. So we have a few hands up. Brother Raji, would you like to ask your first question?
Namaskaram.
Please go ahead, Brother Raji.
When I started the first session day before yesterday, I had 3 questions. Fortunately, one of our friends asked the first one, which is, how do you measure progress?
We're not able to hear you very clearly, actually. So sorry about that, but could you come a little closer?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, much better. And if you don't mind, if you could stick to one question, because there are a lot of people, so we'll really appreciate that.
All right.
Thank you.
I said I started with 3, so maybe if I'm allowed to ask the balance 2, well, I've been an Abhyasi for about 2 years now under Rashi in Pune. And what you answered on the first question as to how to measure progress has given me comfort that, yes, I am making some progress in terms of being calmer, more blissful. And it's not just my feeling. If my wife says so, then I believe her.
Well, that's the ultimate certificate.
Yes. The other 2 questions I had, Daaji, were that, you see, in the meditation process, we say that feel the transmission from within. How do you describe this feeling so I can sense it? That is one. And the second one was, when I very often, as part of the process, I go into daydreaming mode. So when I come back to it, I sometimes find that to prevent going into daydreaming, I chant Krishna's name or Ram's name, just so that I get back into focus. So is that all right? These are my 2 questions.
Okay. How to feel transmission during meditation? Okay, that's your number one question. Transmission and light from the sun or from whichever source, I think they're comparable in some ways. Can you see the light? You can't see the light, but you can see the impact of light on objects and see, oh, okay, I'm able to see because of the presence of light. Similarly, the various states of consciousness that I'm able to go through and experience is, accelerated by the flow of pranahuti or transmission that we receive. So when you feel really peaceful, it is because of the impact of this pranahuti, because this pranahuti removes certain unnecessary thing to the extent we allow it. So suppose you have a deep desire to get rid of certain weaknesses that is troubling you, or when you become aware of our negative tendencies and we put it forward or put them forward at bedtime to God before we go to sleep and say, please help me with this. When we open our heart and submit our negative tendencies, along with our prayer, what works magically is this pranahuti, this transmission. It helps us get rid of those tendencies. So, and as they are being removed, you can see the impact of it. But directly feeling transmission, no. You can feel its indirect effect on us when things are removed or when things are added into us. Okay. Now the second question. What was the other one? Progress. So we have all chanting of Lord Rama or Lord Krishna. Really speaking, there is nothing wrong with it. But whenever we chant or whenever we think of someone, whenever we remember someone, I should be able to feel the presence in front of me or within me. Otherwise, it's a dry chanting. Does my heart move tremendously when I think of my mother? Do I feel her presence or things she has done to me? Her hug, her, the way she fed me, the way she hugged me, the way she dressed me up. If that remembrance can move your heart, then that remembrance is good. But since we have not seen Lord Rama and Lord Krishna, it will remain only an imagination. Of course, it's a great imagination, but how beneficial it is very doubtful. And I'm not discouraging anyone from reciting. It is better than reciting Ravana's name. It will do some good. At least you may not do anything bad, but nothing good can come out of it. Because as often people shout and scream about the people they hate. I'm gonna, punch his nose and I'm gonna hurt this fellow, and you keep shouting that name. It's also a kind of chanting, no? When you hate someone. So whenever we do chant the beloved, the heart must melt. And let me give you some, I think, very discouraging or encouraging. It depends on you how you take it. Response to some things like Lord Krishna's presence while he was alive as an avatara or as an individual human being. It's up to you how you believe. But consider for a moment that he was God's representative or God direct. How many could understand him? Even during Lord Jesus Christ's time, or during Muhammad's time, or Prophet Muhammad's time, or during Moses' time, or during Buddha's time, how many individuals could understand them in totality? In fact, some people were trying to kill Prophet Muhammad, see, and they were successful in ensuring that Lord Jesus be hanged. Of course, it's a different matter that he was resurrected. Similarly, Buddha, how many people could understand him? So if during their lifetime, no one could understand, how are you going to understand them in their so-called physical absence? We don't even know how they even looked. And we imagine their presence based on the artists' or cinematic imaginations. When you watch Mahabharata, you come to know about Lord Krishna as per the actor who acted there, Nitish Kumar. And his vision comes to your mind. Whenever you think of Krishna, Nitish Kumar comes. Is that your Lord Krishna or Lord Rama? Or, when in that last temptation of Jesus Christ, that movie. And when you think of Lord Jesus, was he that person? No, it's just an actor. So even during the lifetime of such great personalities, we as human beings could not understand them. In their so-called absence, how are we going to have? And especially when we don't even know how to imagine them. Everything was wrong, see. So we leave it to God and we offer a humble prayer, honest and sincere prayer to God that, my God, I really don't know you. Let's just be honest with this. If you continue with the dishonesty and say, God, you are like this and you are like that, and once my master was telling me that if you are worshipping Durga, there is nothing wrong with that. But be careful what you are asking for. Durga's, says, her vehicle is a tiger. She rides on a tiger, right? She has a bleeding mouth. She can eat you anytime. She has the trishul in her hand. And if she comes in the middle of the night and say, oh, you're my such a beloved bhakta, I am so pleased with the puja you're offering. Let me show you myself to you. And she comes on a tiger with a trishul. And what will happen to you? You'll really, really, really go, mad. Please, mother, save me from this woman. Do you have courage to face Durga? So think before you really, really plead with such deities. It is good to be honest about it. My God, I really don't know what is the ultimate thing. Let us be honest about it. Otherwise, what will happen when you say, oh, I know God because he lives in Kailash. He's always having this, I'm having a muffler and he's having a cobra around his neck and having a moon in his jata, sitting on a tiger skin and meditating. Well, when you think of meditation, what do you think? Lord as Shiva meditating on something? What is he meditating on? Ask yourself a question. So there is nothing wrong in reciting all these this chalisa and that chalisa and mantras and recite, but be sure that they are productive and taking you towards this onward spiritual journey. And make sure that you are not doing this out of fear and out of temptation, but simply out of love. So we move on to next question, Pragya.
Yes, Daaji. The next question is from Brother Bhuvanesh. He's the president of the American Telugu Association. Welcome, sir.
Hello.
Daaji, namaskaram.
Namaskaram ji.
Greetings to everyone from American Telugu Association. Daaji, thank you so much for taking time to join the session.
So nice.
We are very fortunate to have you. Your words of wisdom means a lot to us. All of ATA would like to thank you and Heartfulness for ongoing weekly sessions that we will benefiting every week. Thank you so much. My question.
Thank you.
My question to you is: we are having a big convention in July coming up in Washington DC. We have about 75 committees coming together to make this conference a big success. 75 committees means about 500 volunteers, and everyone of different attitude, different opinion. But our ultimate goal is to make this conference a grand success. So how do we come together, instead of having, there may be some different of opinions among ourselves. So as a leader, how can we, work with all the different, mindsets? And at the end of the day, we are one team. We're all, one big family. Thank you.
Thank you. Bhuvanesh ji, it's it's always a challenge when we work with multiple individuals, you see. As an individual, as myself, am I really an integrated person? You see, when it comes to a wife, saying that yesterday I wanted this, today I've changed my mind and I would like to have this instead. What will happen to the expression of husband? Oh, you always keep changing your mind. Yesterday you wanted this, today you want this. Okay. But when I have decided something in myself and say, okay, I will do this. And tomorrow you change your mind and say, okay, now I will not do that, and instead I'll do this. Do you fight with yourself? You don't fight with yourself for changing your own mind. But when somebody else changes the mind, you are up in arms and say, how the hell are you changing your mind all the time? See? Now, when we are interacting with so many people, we need to respect that however foolish that person's recommendation is during the meeting. Whenever we have a meeting, we have all kinds of members giving suggestions and sharing their ideas. Listen to them all with a lot of respect, because everyone's view matters. No opinion is small and no opinion is great. We must treat all our membership equally, even though you will have a committee of so many individuals. Some will be millionaires, some will be billionaires, some will be maybe working in McDonald's. We must make sure that all members are equal and their opinions are equally respected. Then the organization will flourish. This is my dream also with our Heartfulness Institute, that there should not be any hierarchy amongst the members. We are all equal. We are here to serve. We are the servants of God. And with that spirit, when we come together, I think we'll do a lot of good things. There will not be competition. It is the competition that spoils an organization. Say. What are we going to get anyway? If we are competing for serving other people, I welcome that attitude. But when you compete with your own member and say, I am better than the other person, then it will not serve. In fact, we all should remember one principle which Babuji Maharaj shared that Bhuvanesh, it's nothing wrong in thinking yourself to be really, really great. Go ahead, you are the president and you are a great guy. But always think that the other person is greater. Let's keep this etched over our heart and move on in life. This way we will not hurt anyone.
Thank you, Daaji. Yeah, I'm going to take that away for sure. Competing to serve others is what we should aspire for. Thank you for that, Daaji. I'd like to call back Tejaswini. She had a question for you, Daaji. We had a very enlightening conversation with her earlier. She was in Kanha, I believe, a couple of days ago. So she's here. Yes. She's joined this live. So please go ahead and ask your question.
Pranam, Daaji. It was for me to sit in front of you and meditate the other day, and I consider this another blessing for me to ask you a question again today. So the question is about pace up versus slow down. So in the current competitive world, be it students, be it employees, be it entrepreneurs, be it doctors, they all have targets, they all have goals. So there is a compulsion for them to pace up, and there is a demand to be on the race. But whereas spirituality teaches us to slow down and to take it one step at a time. Could you please explain this contrast to us and elaborate on this? And another small thing is, in general, in the current generation, a lot of us, think yoga and meditation are boring. How do we get the younger generation interested into performing yoga and meditation?
You are not just Tejaswini, you are Dr. Tejaswini. So you know all these things really, really well. And
from you, a lot of people would get to know it better. So on behalf of everyone, I would like to ask it.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you. It is not a very well understood concept. That's why this controversy keeps coming, that spiritual people should slow down. No, not at all. Actually, our heartfulness way demands that we must succeed in both the fields. Our efforts in the material world as well as in the spiritual world should be full of gusto, full of spirit. It should not become an ascetic approach and say, oh no, I don't have to do this because it's against. No. We must fly with both the wings, spiritual and material. You see, a lot of people we meet, they come, they say, oh, I'm a spiritual person and I'd like to now retire and all that thing. But what will you do when you get retired? See, in fact, make your worldly efforts. Suppose if you are a beautician, you are a doctor, some are nurses, some are carpenters, some are plumbers, some are auto drivers. Do your job as best as you can in the service of the Lord. See? Think of God all the time in your heart and offer your work to Him. And see the magical thing that comes out. Then you will not say that my cooking versus my doing the dishes, versus my doing the clothes, ironing, etc. You will not rebel against all those things because to you, everything becomes spiritual. Even materialistic approach, doing a business. When you add spiritual essence in that, work, then you will not get bored of it. And in fact, you would like to see perfection in everything that you do. That's why Gita's message is this, yoga karmasu kausalam. That through yoga means by uniting yourself with your higher self. Once you have united yourself, it means you have become so conscious. Your conscience is so refined that everything that you do, you would like to see perfection. When you cook, you like to ensure that it's oozing with love. When you're angry with your I mean, you're not married yet, but when you're angry with someone and say, oh, I'm going to feed this fellow, and then you might, put extra mirchi or you put something else in it, and, that poor fellow will suffer, and later on you'll regret also, I did all that, see. But when you love, when you have to feed children, so much of love goes into it, see. So it has to be in everything. Love should become the common ingredient in everything that we do, see. Then the competition will not be there, because now you are competing with yourself, not with somebody else. You are also a Bharatanatyam dancer, and you have performed so many thousands of performances. And each time you would say, I need to do better than the previous performance. And that's how we should see our activities, you see. I must surpass my previous records. So that way, yoga is very beneficial, you see. And you see, there is a kind of unity amongst the terrorists. If somebody develops a bomb in some country, the same terrorist will share the knowledge of making the bomb with another fellow. In less than 5 minutes, it will reach worldwide. But let us see, as a doctor, you find something extraordinary, a beautiful method to combat a disease. Most doctors, if they find a novel way of combating disease, what they will do? Let me find a pharmaceutical company whom I can sell this method or this particular tablet or pill and make billions out of it. You see? So that's what happens to scientists and good-hearted people. Their drawback is this, that good-hearted people withdraw themselves, but the terrorists seems to be more generous about their knowledge. They share it with everybody. And you see the problem here, good-hearted people. Why do they become like that? They don't share. Are they really good-hearted? Think over this, you see. So we encourage everyone that if something can benefit humanity, we should share it immediately, freely. Still, a while back, a message was there from Babuji Maharaj that the next revolution in energy will be from solar. But it will not be as per the solar system that we have. And he would reveal this knowledge to an individual who will not be materialistic and looking for, financial gain out of it. Okay. So we have to wait for that moment until we become so generous. Then the knowledge will pour from all angles.
Thank you, Daaji.
Thank you.
Just a quick, on a lighter note, Daaji, all these personal anecdotes that you share about marriage, have you experienced any of them? Because they really come from the heart. So I cannot imagine Pratima auntie putting chilies in your food, but I was just curious about that.
Well, I have seen many a times. She'll make a lot of noise with the vessels. When she's upset with me, she will, when she's doing, cooking something, her hands will not be steady. Something will drop and some noise will be made, and she'll call me for, okay, the food is ready, and she'll go on the phone and talk to someone. Oh, I'm coming. So things like that. So they have a very subtle way of expressing their displeasure.
Yes,
I can write a book on that.
You always have tips for a good marriage in all the sessions. I've been observing that. So thank you for that. So the next question is from Sister Celeste. I know she's been waiting to ask questions for the last couple of days. Please go ahead. Can you unmute her, please?
Yes. Good afternoon. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Daaji. Thank you so very much. My question is today is my 1 month anniversary when I started Heartfulness and meditating. So I'm very, very new, and I have lots and lots of questions, but I have PTSD, and I was very, very sad, and I needed help. I needed, and my friend here that's with me today brought me to Heartfulness, brought me to Alabama's wonderful, wonderful sisters and brothers. My question is, I heard so much about 3 sittings. That was just, and I didn't really have any expectations of what I was my journey and where I was going with this. But it was, I think everyone that was even meditating with me said verbally, this is amazing. This is, and can you just expand on that just a little bit for me, being such a newcomer?
Yeah, personally.
3 sittings, important 3 sittings.
Oh. 3 sittings to me are preparing us in many ways, you see. It's like an orientation. One session is how we are taught how to meditate. Second is how to offer ourselves and undergo the process of cleaning. And third is how to offer the prayer to the Lord. In meditation, how to receive this transmission that we all talk about, see, how to prepare our heart. So the preceptor or the trainer does a spiritual work on us so that we are enabled to receive the transmission whenever our heart calls for it. See, after that, it becomes very automatic. For example, Celeste, that you felt like having a meditation session at 2 o'clock in the morning on your own, and you say, okay, let me sit and invoke this transmission, and it will come. It is because of that 3 introductory sessions. Second thing is it connects with the source. Third thing is when we do our evening cleaning process, it prepares us how to do this cleaning. That means whenever I make a suggestion to myself that may all these complexities and impurities be removed, it starts working. So we are somehow enabled to command ourselves so that we become simpler and purer each time we undergo this process of cleaning. See? And prayer to me, in Sahaj Marg, in a heartfulness way, we are not asking God for anything. See? We are only saying, my Lord, you are my goal. What is preventing me from attaining that is my own desires. They are preventing me. And you are the only solution. You are the only power. You are the only, God who can help me out of this situation. So we have the goal, and we do recognize what is preventing us. And we also recognize the role of the Lord in our life. And we move on like that. The prayer to me is the best when the heart is having a vacuum. Vacuum means nothing in the heart, no demands in our heart. I want nothing from God. I want nothing whatsoever. But God, don't deny me you. That's all. And when we create that infinity or vacuum of that nature, it automatically descends. When we have only a small vacuum, how much can you invite? And if you consider God as an infinity, we will have to create infinite vacuum in our heart. We cannot tolerate a single most of our deviation that can fill up the heart with rubbish. Even so-called passionate love or passionate bhakti will also interfere. But those are the means in the beginning. We don't stop them. Even this meditation that we are doing, in the end, will become the barrier. But we will come to that later. But let us use meditation as a means until we reach there. And we say goodbye even to meditation. Everything must drop at some point in our journey. And you will know when you have reached that level, you will definitely know it.
I hope that answers your question, Celeste, and welcome to Heartfulness. It's only been 1 month. Congratulations, but
Thank you. Thank you.
Daaji, should I go ahead and ask another question, or would you like to start a sitting?
9:36.
Well, one more question and then we'll meditate.
Sure, Daaji. There's Dr. Alok Agarwal from ATA who's been wanting to ask a question.
Daaji, namaste. Namaste to everyone.
Namaste.
Daaji, as you know, we had communicated a little bit about 2-3 years back. I am involved in poverty alleviation work. You know, I believe service to mankind is service to God. I will just ask you one simple question right now. I need an hour from you in March to answer my 50 more questions that I have.
You have my whole month of March with you. I give you the whole month.
Thank you very much. I will be there in Burgula between March 21st and April 4th. So I will get in touch with you and I will definitely come and visit you.
You're
Thank
most
you.
welcome, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So we can begin meditation, Pragya.
Yes, Daaji.
Okay. So let's all start meditation. About 25 minutes or so, Pragya, we can, terminate the sitting.
That's all. So please take the time to write your journal. And I've been doing this every day, which is literally summarizing or writing down my key learnings of the session from Daaji. It's really helped me in keeping a track of how the sessions are, because there's so much that he's sharing with us. It's important that we capture the essence of what he's sharing with us so that we don't forget them and we find a way to almost integrate them in our lives. So it's been really helping me. And I just wanted to thank all of you for being such a engaging lot, just constantly asking questions. And your questions have actually been a way for me to have a lot of my questions answered as well. So thank you very much for addressing those questions. I know we've not been able to get to all of them, but the team is thinking of a way to maybe respond to a number of them because we have a way of capturing them. So maybe we'll find a way to get back to you in some way or form in the next couple of weeks. And thank you to the members of ATA again for joining. Really appreciate you, having these sessions. I join in from YouTube every time, so it's always very, very helpful. And for the new practitioners, please do subscribe to the Beautiful Thought and also Whispers. I think it's a great way to start your day. So if you already haven't done that, I'm presuming a lot of the people here are new practitioners. So please do that. For me, that's the first thing I do in the morning. It really starts your day on the right note. And in addition to all the various learnings that I jotted down, I think the key tip for me was, if you're having a rough day, make sure you do your cleaning before you talk to your spouse. So I'll end with that. And thank you so much for a lovely weekend. And hopefully you'll learn a lot from this like I did. Thank you. Have a lovely week ahead. Bye-bye.